This is Grizz's workshop. This scruffy-looking mofo is Grizz.
Not an expert, not an exemplar of safety. Proceed at your own risk.
Today I'm making an Avocet. I'm using Cedar. The Avocet is a symbol of the logo of the RSPB, one of the first birds they chose to preserve. Now scheduled one bird, so you can't interfere with it or its nest. Quite popular all around the coast, particularly in Norfolk. This one's going to hopefully end up on my store. So I've got this bandsaw and it's not great, and it requires more patience than I often am willing to give it. So detention in the blade is something I keep forgetting to do, and well, the blade goes quite dull and you end up getting it stuck like I did there. Realise you can't get all the way in with this big chunk on the side that I can't use, so I cut that off and then snapped it off. Actually got a new blade on there and it cuts so much better. Gluing the flat sides together. It's a cedar. I love working with cedar. It's got a lovely grain to it and it's nice and soft. You see I use the many clamps technique there. I'm sticking as many clamps on as possible, and then it takes some time to take all the clamps off again. I use some hot glue to stick the bird onto a batten, as you can see here, so I can hold it above the super jaws. It's the Kutzall medium grit shaping disc. It takes a while to get where I'd like to be with it. Mainly focusing on the back as I'll save the beak. At the moment it looks like a platypus, but no, I'm going to save the beak for later on. Make it thinner. The majority of the removing of excess wood with this tool is very good. It took much more than I was expecting to actually cut off a hot glued batten. Honestly, it was well on there, but in the end I managed to pry it out, and we just start working indoors, just refining the shape, making it smoother, getting it just as I want. I find it hard to get it as close as I possibly could using that Kutzall disc, just because it's a bit rough, and now I prefer to use my hands on the tool to get it done. Never enough just to use the bobbin sander or the belt sander. I often come back in with a power file. And that was the problem when I was doing it. It was not running very well at all. I'd start and stop, start and stop, and start and stop. And opened it underneath, not really knowing what I was doing, but I started it up and you can see the sparks, which meant one thing: the brushes had gone. The carbon brushes, which I was able to find, and the carbon brush unit I was hoping to just replace nice and easy, but it's not available anywhere. So I ended up having to just get the individual brushes and put them into the unit I already had. It happened just before I was due to go on holiday, so I had to leave it several days before I could resume my activities. Looking much better now. Still looking like a duck at the moment. What I like about these spindle bobbins, you can go down to a fairly small size, and it's quite useful. I mean, you still end up using the power file because that's got a nice straight edge to it. Big say, the bobbin sander is my number one tool really in terms of the sculptures that I make. Use it quite often. So you're getting that beak as thin as I can really at the moment, just doing it nice and slow and steady because it's quite a thin beak in real life. Quite delicate. Because of its curve, it'd be more difficult to replace with a dowel. There's lots of boring sanding here, there's lots of hand sanding and using the power file again. It just does take a lot of time to get down to that finish you're after. Decided to just go for this oak block base with a brass rod. Its legs, leg. Took a little while to get the right length I wanted. Now I've got it somewhere a bit more stable. It'll come in for the last bit of sanding. Last bit of a lot of sanding. Give it a brand. And then I come back and add some oil. And then a tiny bit of wax paste at the end. Here's my finished Avocet.
Thanks for watching. See you next time on Grizz's Workshop.